Welcome back to our Ask the Vet video series with Dr. Lydia Gray, SmartPak Staff Veterinarian and Medical Director. I'm SmartPaker Sarah, and we're here to answer your horse health questions. Well, I'm here to ask them. You're here to answer them.
Yes.
And they're the questions asked and voted on by you guys, which is fantastic. You can ask questions for future videos on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, our blog, Facebook.
Everywhere.
You can email customercare@smartpak.com. And all your questions are automatically eligible to be selected. And they go into, you can also check out our playlist to see if we've already answered your question previously.
That's a good idea. We're starting to get some repeats.
We get some repeats, which is good because that means we've answered some really popular topics. But it means that you don't have to wait for your answer if there's already a video for it. If your question gets voted into the top 5 for the month, you will not only hear your answer in the video, you will also get a SmartPak gift card, which is really awesome. It's a great way to help out with holiday shopping too.
Ooh.
So you might want to get some extra questions in these next couple months so that you can get that gifts on your wish list. Stuff your horse's stocking too. They need lots of treats.
Oh yeah.
Those new Smart Cookies are pretty popular.
They're huge.
So you can, if you can believe it, as cool as the gift certificates are, some people haven't claimed theirs yet.
I don't believe it.
I know, but it's true. They're out there. They submitted the questions. So if you are one of those people, we would love to hear from you at customercare@smartpak.com, and we'll get your gift certificate out on its way. You ready to get started?
Yes.
With all that out of the way, let's start with a question from Sarah, which was submitted on our blog.
Not you.
Me. I'm
Sarah.
not allowed to submit the questions because I can't win the gift certificates. This first question was submitted from Sarah, and it was on blog.smartpak.com. And Sarah has a technique similar to last month's top question, where I think she recruited some friends because her question won by a landslide, which is
stuff in the ballot box.
You got to do it. Got to do it. So her question is, what is the fungus horses get on the front of their cannon bones on their back legs, and how can I get rid of it?
Well, one of the names for this is stud crud. It's icky, it's
delightful.
gross, it's crud. I think the scientific name that we're all looking for is cannon dermatitis or cannon keratosis.
Okay.
Cannon keratosis, these are the words that will be on the screen when we're done, and cannon dermatitis. Dermatitis meaning skin inflammation, and keratosis meaning just a abnormal overgrowth of normal skin tissue. So it's normal skin tissue, but it was excessive. We didn't need that much. And it tends to be also a little greasy and oily. And if a horse has it, not all horses have it, but if they do, it's very hard to get rid of. So I can see why it'd be frustrating. Fortunately, this is one thing that my horse does not have.
The rare ailment Newman does not suffer.
I've seen a million ways to deal with it. The first piece of advice I would give you is get a diagnosis from the vet just to make sure, because this person said the skin fungus is actually not a fungus. So it's widely misdiagnosed. It's between rain rot and scratches and other skin funk, but it's not. And so you probably will need a combination of shampooing and some topicals and currying. What I would caution, don't be too aggressive. Don't rub and scratch and pick and make it worse. Then you'll have a bacterial infection that will need additional treatment. You know how I always say, I feel like in almost every one of these, ignore it, don't look.
Just don't look at it.
It probably isn't bothering your horse. Now, if you have a halter horse and looks or everything, you want to work on it a little bit. But talk to your vet and develop a program that works in your horse that's not too aggressive. Don't make it worse than it already is.
So can I ask you about cause for this? Because when this question was bubbling up to the top of the voting, there was a lot of chatter among the riders at SmartPak, and I think everyone was a little embarrassed. Nobody wanted to say what they thought caused it, but then everyone quietly kind of mumbled and was like everyone says it's geldings peeing on themselves. Because that's what everyone says.
And the name's
it's on their
stud
back
crud.
legs.
Yeah.
And so that's why everyone, stud crud,
Yeah,
and you think like it's all like...
The mares get it too.
Yeah.
So
geldings get a bad rap sometimes, you guys.
The cause isn't really fully flushed out, and it's not infection, although it can get infected. It's more just that, like a seborrhea, an oily seborrhea in whatever species, even people. It's just that your skin is overdoing it. It's like, calm down, everybody. We have enough skin. It's pretty. You can stop. But the skin's like, maybe a little more would be great.
So your horse is an overachiever, not a horse that's peeing on his own back legs.
Right.
Stop shaming him. Okay, our second question is from Mackenzie, and it was submitted to our customer care team, which is awesome because they are really nice to talk to. And Kenzie asks, what's the best way to control or remove bot eggs from your horse?
So we brought props today.
Oh, delightful.
So bot eggs are those little yellow, sticky, oval substances that are on like the front legs and sort of the elbow area and maybe the belly, kind of places where the horse can't reach real well. And so manufacturers make what's known as a bot egg knife, and it's got a serrated edge, not really serrated, would you call it? I don't know what that's called. But
yeah, I mean,
it doesn't cut. It doesn't cut.
Yeah.
But you use this to scrape the eggs off, and some people have luck when they use a warm cloth first to sort of loosen them because they're really sticky. In nature, what happens is the bot fly, which looks like a bumblebee, but it doesn't sting or bite, so it just is annoying. It deposits its eggs on your horse's hair coat, and then the horse licks an area, and the warm, moist tongue action is what releases them into the mouth, and they go in the stomach, and they're passed out, and the cycle begins again. Yeah. So you might have better luck if you simulate the horse tongue and then use this.
So warm water, not licking your horse.
I would not advise licking your horse. Correct.
Just want to clarify in case anyone else.
Excellent clarification. We sell this slick and easy. This is very common to see this everywhere. Many people have luck using this grooming block to remove bot eggs. There are also like pumice stones. They're lava rock that are good. And some people just go to their hardware store and buy sandpaper. Other than that, I feel like I'm repeating myself already. I would not go to aggressive lengths to remove these because they're not so bad. I mean, years ago we used to worry about them, but we have such good dewormers now. As long as you deworm at the end of the grazing season, you will control anything that your horse might have swallowed. So, but just when you're cleaning and removing, try to clean up the area and don't share the products and wash your hands. And so you're not just moving the bot eggs, but you're really
getting rid of them.
Removing and destroying them.
Okay. Our third question is from Debbie, and it was submitted right here on YouTube. And Debbie is wondering, what is your most recommended joint supplement, and would you recommend an all-in-one supplement for a horse that needs joint support?
So I saw this, and I didn't really understand the question. I can go online and look at you sort by bestsellers, and it looks like our best-selling is the Smart Combo Ultra. And so the joint supplement in that all-in-one combo formula is SmartFlex 3 Resilient Pellets, which is an awesome formula because it's for, it's like if you take our SmartFlex Wizard.
Family? SmartFlex line?
The wizard for the Smart.
Oh, a SmartFlex Finder.
Yeah, the SmartFlex Finder, and you put in sort of. I've got an adult, middle-aged horse and moderate to heavy work, and I'm competing. It'll pull up SmartFlex 3 Resilience Pellets because it has really good levels of glucosamine, chondroitin sulfate, HA, MSM, all the good stuff. It's right there. So
and soft tissue support.
And
too,
soft
right?
tissue support for tendons and ligaments, right? And then her second part was, what do you think about all-in-one supplements? That Smart Combo Ultra is a great product because it's got the joint ingredients that you're looking for. It's got the hoof, skin and coat, and probably my favorite is the digestion. It's got the Smart Digest Ultra ingredients, so then you become Colicare eligible, which is awesome.
And Colicare is a really awesome program. When Debbie asked about recommended, I wanted to make sure to give a shout out for anyone who's viewing that maybe hasn't been to the SmartPak site. If you are shopping around, we have a ton of reviews. We have a lot of products with many hundreds of reviews from horse owners. So you can see recommendations for how it works for a horse that does the same discipline that you do or similar sorts of things. And so go online and read the reviews, and you'll get a lot of really good feedback from riders and horse owners.
And do go through the wizard, because it's only 5 questions, and I love quizzes. So.
Yeah, it's true, you do. Question number 4 was submitted by Lucy2999 on YouTube, and Lucy's wondering, any advice on increasing your horse's fitness level?
Oh, I brought another prop.
Ooh.
This is prop day. So you may notice this book, Conditioning Sport Horses, Hillary Clayton. It's
you love her.
dog-eared. There are little Post-its in it. It's the cover is looking quite worn. My old name is in it. I've had this for a long time because it's a really good book, and so you might want to consider purchasing it. But she talks about the 3 kinds of conditioning. There's cardiovascular, which is getting your heart and lungs working harder. There's strength training, which is muscles, and there's suppling exercises, and that's your soft tissue, your tendons and ligaments. And all of those need to be conditioned properly over time. Over time is, the term they use is long, slow distance. And the goal is you start with walk, and eventually, this could take 3 to 12 months, depending on the age of the horse, if they've been conditioned already, if they're coming off an injury, say, if it's like the end of winter and it's a new competition. So there's lots of factors. But you start walking and you add either intensity, so how hard, or duration, how long, or frequency, how often. Those are your 3 components.
Not recommended to do all 3 at once?
No. And
Not a fun time.
No, it's very hard on your horse. And they recommend starting with duration first. So this long, slow distance is you build up over the 3 to 12 months to 45 to 60 minutes, depending on your discipline, of walk, trot, canter. Your horse should be able to do that and not be winded. That's the goal of long, slow distance. Then you add in your sport-specific conditioning. So if you're an endurance rider, then you want to continue the long, slow distance, but at a more intense level. So you're trotting. If you're a show jumper, then you need more strength and power, especially in the hind legs, to get over the fences. So you begin to do drills, sets. They use the same language as human bodybuilders and weightlifters that increase your horse's power and strength behind. If you're dressage, suppling is a really important component. And she says, while you might do cardiovascular fitness and strength training on alternate days, because the work is as important as the rest and recovery. That's when you rebuild and improve your tissue quality. Suppling is done every day, and more so probably in the dressage horse. It's a fascinating book, and there's lots more in it. Maybe someday we have 4 or 5 hours. We can cover it fully.
That sounds, feels like coming on the weekend. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So that is fantastic. You talked about noticing when your horse is winded. Is there a because obviously, every horse is different. Are there guidelines that you give people, or is there something you use when you're working with Newman?
The heart rate is your best indicator.
Interesting, because you would think winded, you think respiratory.
Well, and here's why. When a horse breathes, the breathing can become a component of, I'm trying to cool myself. So if it's hot and muggy and the horse did a strenuous workout, the respiratory rate may reflect, I need to get rid of some heat more than I need to recover my air.
Gotcha.
So the heart rate is what is better to monitor, and if you're fit, in about 10 minutes it will go down to baseline. So that's why in a vet box, at like a Rolex 3D event, we use a 10-minute window to see, is the horse recovering completely.
Okay. Very
really cool stuff.
That was awesome. Yeah. Okay. Well, very exciting news. We have our first ever 2 questions in the same month from one person.
Wow.
Lucy2999 is asking, are bran mashes beneficial to horses? How often should I feed my horse a bran mash?
This is one of my
Did you vote
favorite
for this question?
topics.
Were you in there
Am I
just
Lucy
every day?
2999? So bran mashes. Being a horse owner, I understand how good it feels, like warm and fuzzy, when you can cook up with all sorts of tasty tidbits, carrots and apples and whatever. There's all kinds of recipes. A nice warm bran mash in the winter. And I know a lot of people do it like once a week, a Friday, whatever. However, wheat bran is got a lopsided or upside down calcium to phosphorus ratio. That's the first problem. In horses, their diet's supposed to be 1-to-1 or 1-to-2 calcium to phosphorus. And so
1-to-1, 1-to-2 means like equal amounts or twice as much.
Or a little bit, actually I said that backwards, 2-to-1 calcium, a little bit more calcium. Okay. So equal amounts of calcium to phosphorus or a little bit more calcium.
Okay.
Bran is a 1-to-12, so it has 1 part calcium and 12 parts phosphorus.
That feels like more than upside down.
Yeah, it's quite, and so you can balance for it, but it takes a lot of diet manipulation and an expert nutritionist to help you. So then just don't give it, right, is one choice. The other problem with bran is people think it's high fiber. In people whose diets are about 2% fiber, it is high fiber. But in horses whose diet's way higher, it's not. You're actually decreasing the fiber content of your horse's diet by giving it. So then you ask, why does it serve as a laxative and the horse have better quality, wetter bowel movements? Why does it move stuff through? What might be happening, it doesn't actually, what might be happening is, you know how we say don't change your horse's diet quickly, but do it over time, like 7 to 10 or 14 days?
Sure.
What are you doing when you're feeding your horse, and then on Friday you give it a bran mash? You're changing the diet suddenly.
Rapidly,
So
sure.
what you're causing maybe is a mild digestive upset and loose stool. And then in a day or two your horse recovers. So why would we do that?
Yeah, that does not feel like a treat.
It doesn't, and I hear stories about going down the barn and giving hot bran mashes, and one horse says, no thanks. He's maybe experienced the gassiness and bloating and is like, I'm all good. So it's tasty, they love it, but it might not be the best choice. There are some better choices, like if you want to make a mash, you can use a complete feed and add water to it, beet pulp, alfalfa pellets. There's other things that are more balanced and appropriate for horses.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, at least a lot of what I've heard as justification for bran mashes is people saying, but the horses love it.
They do,
it's like, well,
and I
of
love
course they
Fritos
do.
and
It's
ding dongs.
exactly right. We have to, make those responsible choices, and it's up to us to make the right choice for our horses.
Based on science,
Yeah. Science gets you every time. All right. Well, those were all the questions we had this month. Thank you guys so much for submitting the questions. Thank you to everyone who voted. You guys make sure we're answering the most popular questions, which makes us really happy. It feels like a really great way for us to be helping you keep your horses happy and healthy. So we'll be accepting questions for next month's video right now. You can submit those questions on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, email customercare@smartpak.com, submit them on the blog, right here in the comments. Don't forget to use hashtag AskTheVetVideo so we can make sure that we get all the questions in the same place. And we'll be accepting questions until November 1st. Don't forget to vote on your questions and use some of the techniques we've seen here. Recruit your friends.
Stuffing,
That's exactly right. Because if your question is selected, you do get that SmartPak gift card, which is pretty awesome. So don't forget also to subscribe to our videos so that if you do submit a question, you make sure you don't miss it when we answer it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great ride.